What's going on, everybody? It is the one and only back in an amazing turn of events that we have here right now. So, the only thing I can say is right now, a miracle has happened. That's right, the absolute miracle of miracles. And we have got to a point where I can now be my badass self and play this game that I love so much. One of my favorite arcade games of all time. Something that I cannot stress enough. Give me 1 second just before we go any further. And like I said, I can't stress this enough, just because this is the game that made me buy an arcade machine just for this board. So good. Let me just check one more thing real quick. Okay, our audio balance seems good. One of the best films ever made into one of the best arcade games ever made. Let's load up on some credits. I don't profess to be amazing at this game. It's been a long time since I've played it. It's been, well, since early this year since I played it. But let's go. Let's go ham. We're just gonna go. We're gonna go nuts. I can't fucking wait. It's gonna be so good. Hunt down and destroy the aliens. If you can keep yourself alive long enough. Well, I believe I can. I remember playing this as a kid. It always blew my mind. Like I said, one of my favorite films eventually made into a badass game. And it was a gorgeous looking game as well. I mean, this came out in 1990. It's like, this is better looking than most Super Nintendo beat 'em ups. And it even predates them. Now, I usually like to have a specific weapon for this boss. But I'm not going to use it anyway. I'm just going to go crazy. Just because we're here for some fun. And we're here for some absolute randomness. And that's all that matters. It's not no super high-end, high-tier, pro-level, fourth place at Evo gameplay. No. I just want to play games and have fun. And shoot up some fucking aliens while I'm at it. Because that's what we do. I much prefer to have the three-way sway on this guy, but this'll suffice. All aboard the Beaver sucks train, eh? See how it is. Make sure you read the description, Beaver. Special note in there for select badasses. Oh no! I threw a super bomb. Fuck. It's weird with the controls and whatnot. I will animalize this though. You can probably hear me hammering away at the buttons. Because we don't use auto fire up in here. We do this manually. Because that's how we roll. Just for everyone who's always watching and wondering, we have a super special guest VIP in the chat at the moment. Despite his name is actually Beaver Sucks, and he is one of the select special people who made this thing happen and made this possible. So if you know what they say, prayer hands. If I could get on my hands and knees, still be on camera, I would. In fact, you know what? You know what I'm going to do just for that? You know what? There, here we go. How's that, Beaver? This is all thanks to you. I hope you're happy. Just because. Using teamwork to make the dream work. And MAME, of course. Whoops. Kind of wasn't watching. Well, I mean, you could put money into your PC and machine and MAME and whatnot for what you could technically do it. USB coin slot, there you go. Or just put money into, oh shit. Oh no! Put money into the disk drive? Well, at least look at it this way. Look at it this way, Bieber, right? This will obviously be archived forever. So those, for the millions and millions of my fans out there over the history of, well, forever, this live chat will be enabled. So they will see, not only will they be able to see everything that is the amazing Aliens 1990s arcade game, but also they'll see you in chat. They'll hear all this gloriousness. Cross post into the live league. Everyone's gonna want to see this. It's obviously what it is. I'm actually gonna die here. I always do it. Even on my arcade cab, I actually can't do this bit without dying. I'm so bad at life. I always die here at least once. It's always the same part. I don't even get killed by enemies attacking me. I just can't kill them fast enough to prevent what's going to happen from happening. Even with a better weapon, which I usually have. But I did end up dying once because apparently I'm bad at life. I got fake Ripley. Oh! That's not good. I did a slight bit better, but... jump on top. Here's my problem. Here's where I usually die. We're super hyped and super concentrated at the moment. Oh my god. Oh my god, I did it! For the first time ever, I've ever gotten by that bit without dying. I usually always die there. That's insane. You're good luck, Beaver. Never thought I'd say that. Oh no. Die faster. That gave me fuck all health. You know what? Just because charms.
They're always after me, Lucky Charm.
I don't know if you're going to be able to hear that over all the sound, but you know, MAME sound and balance and whatnot was not a super priority right now. Just kind of wanted to jump straight into it. With Vasquez, I don't know. People wonder if she's ever been mistaken for a man. Vasquez kind of hot though. Not gonna lie. See, I still remember how to dodge this guy's stuff from how much I played it in the actual cab. Easy. Although he is usually dead by now. Or at least it always feels like he is. There we go. I saw this thing recently, actually, where they were complaining about Vasquez. Like, oh, if it was made in modern era, Vasquez would be like a lesbian feminist or something like that. Played by some specific actress who I can't remember. And everyone was being salty potatoes about it. I wouldn't complain about Vasquez. There's not much selection of women in that film. Although actually the pilot The pilot is the hottest of the three of them. The dropship pilot. Can't remember what her name is. Oh no. Oh, it's my super bomb button. Well, we don't talk about the Ghostbusters remake. The Ghostbusters remake is basically like Mighty Number 9. If you don't talk about it, has it really happened? If no one's talked about it and no one's seen it or played it, does it really exist? And you know, I've got a Class 2 loader's license, so... I love Aliens so much. Both the film and the game. It's such a shame that a little while back, Al Matthews died. He played Sergeant Apone. So when he died, naturally, of course, I had to, in his honor, I had to watch Aliens that night. Made it even sweeter that it was, oh fuck. Made it even sweeter that it was my Blu-ray copy signed by him. Assholes and elbows, ladies, assholes and elbows. Day in the Corps like a day in the farm. Every meal a banquet. Every formation a parade. Oh no! I lost my super bombs. I will say I'm very slightly biased, but there is one little tiny charm missing from this game right now. And that's the fact that it's not being played on a CRT monitor. It's just because all the times I played it's on my cab, so I'm just used to it being on the CRT. Seems head like the weirdest vagina in the world. Oh no! You know, it's actually funny now that I have the, infinite credits. Even though I technically have infinite credits in my home one, I don't have it set to free play, but that's on purpose. Oh look, give me a sec, I'll get to... after we kill the boss here, I can read that. But yeah, I purposely don't have my home cab set to free play. I have a very specific reason and setup for it. So the way I have it done is I have it set to €1, like the €1 coin. And I have a very specific €1 coin that I use only for only for the cab. And that's the €1 coin. When I went down to test it out, the guy I was buying it from, he owned the store, he had one that was still in the store, not really used, and there was also one out the back. So, because he had it in the store... Oh, what are blue things? Oh, they're shooting at projectiles. Because it was in the store, it was actually technically in use, and it was set to €1. So I just took €1 out of my pocket. He had it opened up, so naturally I got my money back. And I put that one in as a test. And what I did was I kept that specific €1 coin separate. Oh no, they're going to come out of the ground to get me. I kept that specific €1 coin separate, and now that's in the other room. And I only use it with my arcade machine. I don't charge anyone else to play it, of course. We all just spam the same €1 coin. Because I keep the door, where the coin slot is, I keep the door open. So it just falls right down like into where it is. It's quality stuff. Oh, let me read this real quick. no, I don't. Yeah, it must be scan lines or something like that then, is it basically? Or the equivalent of scan lines, something similar to it. Damn. I was rushing to get the food, and I took more damage than the food gave me. Maybe I should charge the friends. Oh. Ah, fuck. Now we all need to figure out how to net play this stuff. It'll be the business. We'll get... What'll we do? We'll have me, you, fellow teenagers, GSP. We'll figure out a couple of other people in there too, and we'll play, like, I don't know, 4-player everything. We'll get 4-player X-Men, 4-player Turtles, 4-player Simpsons. The Capcom Arcade Collection already has built-in multiplayer for those ones. And then Goober's here as well. We'll get him in too. 16,000 for a... 16,000 for an arcade game. That sounds... Well, that sounds about right. You know, I can always play this guilt-free. Like, oh, Q, emulation. Well, guess what, motherfuckers? I own a legit PCB of this, so... You know, go find a bridge and just jump off it. What do I think of modern arcade games? I think they're very, very bleh. Modern arcade games are so boring to me. Like, I can understand them being insanely difficult to be, like, food suckers. Money vacuums, which is technically what arcade games are. But so many of them are just the same kind now. Like, almost all of them nowadays are just... What do we call them? They're just like light gun games. It's like almost the same light gun game over and over. Or... Oh, fuck, that one's up high. All the same light gun games or all the same racing games, and that's just not interesting to me. I really need to pay attention to my motion tracker. It's such a shame as well. Like, I know, unfortunately, arcades are a thing of the past, but it just feels bad, man. I mean, there's nothing like it. Standing around a cab, you and your friends, just hammering away at whatever game, be it a beat 'em up or a fighting game between the two of you, whatever it is. Yeah, a lot of the more modern ones are pretty much like Metal Slug. Not in the quality sense or the gameplay sense, but they're designed just to be insanely hard, just so you can put in as much money as possible. And there's no real fun in that, because games like that, you can't really... You can only get good to an extent because they're just designed so... What's the word? Like, so unfairly. And at the same time, I can't even remember. I know you're not specifically talking about beat-em-ups, but... I mean, I can't remember the last time I saw a new beat-em-up game in an arcade. But I know you just mean arcade games in general. Fuck, that one's tearing me apart. Yeah, there's parts that you will always... Like, you could memorize the game and you will always get hit at certain parts. Which is kind of crap and kind of unfair. Like, it should reward you for skill. And that skill, of course, is, you know, being good at the game. Even if it is just memory and repetition from knowing where everything is going to come from, knowing what's going to happen. Fuck. But no, there was a time when we didn't need to worry about stuff like that. And you could actually get good at games and They were designed to a way you could get good at them. And there's people that can finish stuff like Final Fight or Streets of Rage, or even Aliens without dying, without getting hit, without so much. And it's all because they're not unfairly balanced. But nowadays, it's not like that. They're basically the microtransactions of arcade games. That no matter how good you are at the game, you just have to put more money in. Which is a load of bollocks if you ask me. I love the flame animation as well, when you set them on fire. More bombs. Oh no, I hate this part. Trying to get by the lads underneath. See? Pain in the hole. Oh! Now, see, some stuff like this is a bit... I won't call it a bit unfair, because there's not too much of it. Oh, beginner's trap! However, I am going to start getting to the bit of the game where I'm not that good at. I still can't believe that for the first time ever I managed to get by that like elevator scene without taking damage or without being unnecessary dead for the first time ever. There's that with her sick hairdo. The European one is dumbed down and easier? I never knew that. I mean, this still kind of feels about on par with my arcade board. And to be honest, oh shit. To be honest, I've never... Oh, you gay? Okay, okay. I was gonna say that this feels like exactly the same. Do you know what specifically is dumbed down and easier? Biz, you should get automatically banned from life for saying that. How dare you? How dare you insult one of the finest arcade games in history? You, sir, are a man of questionable taste. That's probably why your wrist swells up when you just even think about playing PC games. The shame is all it is. The shame. The stigma you own and you carry. And more importantly, I can't wait to see what else is next. We're gonna have some hopefully some AVP, some Punisher. What else we got? Also, it's so much harder to mash like you would on an arcade stick on a controller. Mainly because the controller buttons aren't sensitive enough. They have too much like feedback on them. Too much travel time, too much everything. Die queen, bitch. I appreciate that, viewer. You were there when I had my little freak out on Discord when it actually worked. That was all that mattered. What up, Chrissy? Take out these guys. I do not charge. That is slander, Beaver. Slander. I don't charge my guests to play. I have that specific €1 coin that's completely reusable and available to everyone at no cost. Slander. Absolute slander. Libel and slander. No, this one isn't too bad, Biz, for being a money sucker. I'm not doing especially well at the moment, but I'm nearly at the end of the game, and I think I've only used maybe 4 continues. Now, you know me, you know I own the PCB board of this with my cab, so I do have, you know, a bit more experience than probably your average person with this game. And it is one of my favorite arcade games of all time, hence why I own it. But yeah, you can... This is one of the ones that's balanced pretty fairly. If you're good at it, you can actually finish it without using a single credit. Like just your initial investment. It's beast though, it's just so good. Come on, stop respawning all these. Got him! Oh, you're not the only one though, Biz. I so sorely miss arcades. I'm so envious of Hello Fellow Teenagers. Shit, the Queen, because he lives near the Galloping Ghost, which is like the only real big modern arcade left, and it uses all the old school arcade machines, all the old school stuff, pinball, all that, versus all this kind of crap. Chrissy, I'm using MAME to play this. Multi-arcade machine emulator. Can play it on my PC that way and stream it. Oh, this part doesn't play well though. This bit doesn't lag at all in on an actual cab. Oh yeah, absolutely, Biz. AVP is considered by many to be the pinnacle of arcade beat 'em ups. I mean, technically, I always hate this Queen. This is the hardest part of the game. But even I recognize AVP is a better game. I just have a slight preference for this. This is where I'm terrible though, at this part. I don't know how people do. I've seen people do this on like long plays and stuff, where they can fight this and kill this boss without dying. I don't know how they do it. Absolute madmen. Come on, push, push! Yes! Get wrecked, Queen. You done for. Oh, that sounds like Hipster Central, if that's the case, Biz. I mean, I wouldn't blame you for not going there, if they all have mustaches. No! I'm Trace. I want to be Winston. If you're going to be Trace, I'm going to be Winston. So you know what? No, we'll let the credits play. Of course, I'm just gonna keep playing for a few more minutes. I'll probably I won't do another whole run. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. Just because it's so good. All these people. I think I've posted a picture of it before. Of the actual arcade board of this sitting downstairs. Presented by Konami. I have hopes for this nowadays. Because now that... Here we go, we're back. Now that the Aliens license is in possession of Disney. That's right. As is the Predator license, which is obviously important for another reason. Since it's all owned by one company now, they could potentially rework a licensing deal to get these released digitally somewhere. Be it Steam, consoles, and some sort of collection, anything like that. It could potentially happen. Also, I'll show you why I like this gun on the first boss. Most people prefer the rockets, they're usually easier. Yeah, Disney owns Alien now. With the buyout of 20th Century Fox, they now own Aliens and Predator. So technically, either Ripley or the Queen Alien is a Disney princess. But the big thing is that now that they own the license for AVP, well, for Aliens and Predator, they could also just go to Capcom and say, hey, we own all these licenses, you made the game, let's do something about it. Or because they own Aliens, they could go to Konami and say, we own the license, let's do something about the game. So that's very promising. It's the same with The Punisher. The Punisher has an amazing arcade game that never got a home port. And obviously Disney owned the license to that. Capcom made the game. So they could just go, hey, we own the license, you made the game, let's do something about it. Oh, I saw that. It's like Alien Blackout or something, isn't it, Biz? Everyone reckons it's kind of not so much a sequel to Alien Isolation, but just another Alien game. And on another fun note as well with that, as far as licenses and Disney goes, Disney owned the license to The Simpsons now. So that means they could go to Konami and say, hey, we own the license for The Simpsons, you made the game, let's do something about it. They already did it a few years ago when they republished it on Xbox 360 for a brief period of time. They own X-Men, they could do the same thing there. They could go to Konami and say, hey, we own X-Men, let's do something with the game. I wasn't a huge fan of Isolation. I actually never finished it because I got so bored of it. We could call this a chill stream. Just gonna keep randomly playing this, shooting this shit, talking about whatever we want. The 3D Aliens game, which one? Isolation? Colonial Marines? Because Colonial Marines went down in history as... Ooh lad. That was Fallout 76 before Fallout 76. First you had Fallout 76. No, not Fallout 76. First you had Alien Isolation. Then you had No Man's Sky. Then you had Fallout 76. Oh, Biz, I would be happy if they ported, like if they just re-released the 360 port of the game. Just port that as it is with no changes. I would be perfectly fine. Port it onto Steam, I'll play it, I'll buy it. Port it onto Xbox One, I will set up my Xbox One for it. Port it onto PS4, I'll buy it on PS4. Port it onto the Switch, I would even fucking buy it on the Switch. Don't tell anyone I said that, but... still, it could happen. I imagine Alien Isolation would be good with VR. Oh, we're gonna do horrible on this one though. We're gonna die out of here. Oh well, you know how it is, Biz. The Simpsons is a quality game, and I'm actually raging because when they released it on 360, I forgot to buy it. I didn't realize it was the license was only going to be a short-term thing, and I forgot to buy it. I have Turtles because they also released Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on there. Oh, there we go. That's where I usually fuck it up and die. And of course I fucked up and died. Yeah, they released X-Men, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and The Simpsons at one point on 360, but both of them were on 360, or all three of them were on 360, but only two of them were on PS3 for some reason. The Simpsons board is expensive, yeah, it's about €400 or €500 usually. The reason for that is because The Simpsons and Turtles are the two most wanted and well known and well loved arcade games and arcade boards. Oh yeah, Chrissy, yeah. Simpsons Hit and Run, wasn't it? I think it was on the... Was it on the OG Xbox? Maybe the PS2 as well? I never played it, but I know of it. I mean, if I'm gonna play a GTA clone, I'd rather just play GTA. How could I forget that? Use the low shot to go under all the things. I'm disappointed in myself. Yeah, the Simpsons and Turtles are expensive. There's a couple of other ones as well that are moderately expensive. Usually some of the later Street Fighter ones. Like something along the lines of, I don't know, Super Turbo or something like that. There's another game that the guy I bought my arcade cabinet from, I can't remember the name of it. It was another beat 'em up game, but it was in Japanese, and it was a really weird one. And it's worth like €600. That's not a great game, so I wasn't going to buy it off him really. He lent it to me at one point, so I could play it. Because I was going to buy Final Fight off him. But it turned out to be a bootleg copy. He didn't realize it was bootleg, because his English isn't great. And he's old. But I was going to buy Final Fight, so the idea was I'd go down, test out Final Fight. If I liked it, I could take it, and that was that. Boom, super bomb. And again. But because when I got down there, Final Fight wasn't working properly, and we noticed it was bootleg, he just gave me a lend of the other board for the weekend for something to play. It is really a shame though, because I would have liked to have an arcade version of Final Fight. I know I have the Capcom Beat 'em Up collection, and that's arcade version than that, but I'd rather like the cab as well. Oh, Baseball Stars. I don't think I've ever actually seen Baseball Stars in person. Simply because, you know, baseball's not a sport here in Europe. So none of the places ever put them in. No, Chrissy, you're exactly right. I am completely Irish. 100%. It's part of my charm. Part of my amazing charm. The accent usually comes through a bit more clear and a bit more concise, but I'm kind of all over the place because I'm just so excited about this stream, so. Oh, Biz, you're missing out. What you need to do is, since you love your Switch so much, you need to buy the Capcom Beat 'em Up collection. Final Fight is in that. 7 arcade games, arcade perfect. And that is one of them. Yeah, Arcade Final Fight is easily the best for. Well, it's obviously the best version of Final Fight, but by a significant margin. Like the SNES version is missing an entire level. It can only fit 2 characters instead of 3 characters, and it's got a cripply. Is cripply a bad? It's got an absolutely crippled. There you go. Version of the sprite limit. And trust me, when you get further in that game, you need the sprite limit, or well, you need the arcade sprite limit. Do I know RT Gamer or RT Games? The name doesn't sound familiar. I'm gonna go with no. I have no idea who or what that is. Sorry, I remember that. I can kind of remember the pattern on this now. Back out. He's trying to get me. No! Why did that one change? That's strange. Now the hard part. Oh, that was really easy for some reason.
Come on!
No, I've also never heard of what's that? Call Me Kevin? No, I've never heard of either of them. Oh, I see how it is, Biz. You're watching other Irish gamers and whatnot, and not me. I see how it is. You know, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. Also, this doesn't lag on actual arcade either. But I mean, I can suffer through this for main purposes. The island's small enough. Well, I mean, it is pretty small, so we know like half the country. So those two must just be part of the other half of the country. How's that? Sounds good? Snort. Because this archive will stay up, there's no chance I was actually going to snort. But I will play a meme soundboard. What have I got? Oh yeah, here we go.
Glorious PC Gaming Master Race.
Oh, that reminds me, I was looking at my soundboard. Another badass arcade game that had a kind of crappy SNES port, but everyone thinks is actually a good version of the game, is Killer Instinct. Everyone always thinks Killer Instinct is a really good SNES port. It's I don't want to say it's a terrible port. It's still a decent playable game on the Super Nintendo, but it pales in comparison to the arcade. Oh no, I'm a TJ combo guy. I'm a TJ combo all the way, Beeb. Oh, I'll save you the time, Chrissy. When it comes to Irish YouTubers, I don't know a single other one. So out of all the people you could possibly name, I don't know them. I don't like many many other questionable European people. We're all strange over here, you know. Wow, Biz, that's almost shocking that you never got into Killer Instinct till Xbox One. There's like, depending on what way you look at it, there's about 4 Killer Instinct games. Oh, damn it, I was looking at stream chat. Jack... I've heard the name Jacksepticeye, but I've never watched anything about him. I told you, I'm terrible when it comes to... See, I don't use YouTube for what many other people use YouTube for. I use it to like look into like retro games and very specific stuff. I'm not usually looking at all the current hotness and whatnot. Well, Primal Rage is also acceptable, Biz. I don't know if you saw it actually, Biz. Yesterday, was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. I picked up the Midway Arcade Treasures Collection #2 on OG Xbox, and it's a bunch of arcade ROMs and arcade ports on the disc, and it actually has Primal Rage on it. So it's funny you mentioned that. It has Mortal Kombat 2, Mortal Kombat 3, Spy Hunter 2, Primal Rage. There's a few other good ones on there as well. I never actually played Primal Rage in the arcade though. A friend of mine had a Super Nintendo port. Yeah, believe it or not, everyone always forgets that the OG Xbox actually had a crapload of those collections and had a crapload of arcade games. There's Capcom ones. I bought a Street Fighter Anniversary one as well on OG Xbox recently. There's Midway ones. There's tons of them on there. If you live in the US, I believe there's a Data East collection on Wii, which we never got here in Europe. Any of the... Which games are that, Chrissy? Is that FO? Is that Fallout? Or something else that I can't think of? Oh, you rented the SNES version of Primal Rage, okay. Apparently a bunch of stuff was toned down in that, as well as obviously the graphics. Oh, the Fallout games. Yeah, I have every single Fallout game except for Fallout 76. I have an old school copy of Fallout 1, an old school copy of Fallout 2. I have the collector's edition of 360 of Fallout 3. I have collector's edition of 360 New Vegas. I have the Pip-Boy edition of Fallout 4, and I have the... I have Fallout Tactics, the PS2 game as well. And I have the Mini Nuke Anthology. Teenagers, you're missing out. You're missing out. Forget Target. Just come hang with the real boys. What you should do is check the description real quick. That's what you really need to do. Because, like I did, you know, I'm a fair guy. I'm a fair guy. So, like I did with Beaver earlier, because you know I'm a reasonable dude, so I'm told. I'll give a special shout out to our boy, hello fellow teenagers in chat, Mr. VIP himself. Because he balling so hard like the mayor, naturally. Because thanks to him and Beaver Sucks 123, or is it 321? I don't remember. Because of those two, they helped me get this working. So I could do all this in its glorious 1990s goodness on a beautiful little stream like this. One of my favorite games of all time. And definitely my favorite beat 'em up style game, side scroll or whatever you want to call it, of all time. So they balling so hard like the mayor. Unfortunately, I don't have a soundboard for that. But you know what I do have? Let me just dodge these enemies. That's good enough, right? I'm trying to read stream chat while dodging these enemies. Oh, Windjammers. Well, the thing about Windjammers is you can get it on other platforms. That's actually available modern now. Whereas Aliens isn't. You know, I'm actually tempted to hook up my 360 and stream Aliens. Not Aliens. What's the game I'm thinking of? Turtles. There we go. Turtles. Maybe even X-Men. Like I said, I'm missing... What was the one I was missing? Oh, I was missing The Simpsons. Oh no, I looked. No, they didn't remake Windjammers. They just ported it. They properly ported it to the old arcade version to modern platforms. I don't think it's got anything new in it. It's just like got HD graphics. It's still pixel art and all, but or close enough to pixel art, whatever they call it. If you liked the Fallout games, Chrissy, you should definitely try New Vegas. Especially if you like Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas is better. In my opinion. And most other people's opinion. Now, it might be a little bit hard to go back to, because it's a little bit dated if you weren't really around for that. Windjammers is basically... The best way I can describe Windjammers is... Think of... What's the... air hockey. Think of air hockey. It's like a version of air hockey, but you've got frisbees and special moves. Yeah, Pong would also work this. There you go. Pong is a good choice too. Middle. Bieber was saying he felt sorry for me as well when he sent me the ROM for this. He said he sent me the European version, which is gimped and easier. I was like, well, Bieber, you know, this is I do have the European board, so that's why it feels so natural to me. But I'd make it through anyway. We're just tanking it out. I put myself in a bad spot. All for the sake of trying to get that health. This actually reminds me, I need to replace my... Not so much replace, but I need to swap around the buttons on my arcade machine. Naturally, the player 1 buttons are a lot overused and loose. The player 2 buttons feel much better. I need to swap them around. Have you ever played Duck Hunt? Believe it or not, I've played Duck Hunt once in my life. For someone like me, that's probably very strange. $400 gig. Now, the thing about that biz is that's probably including different versions of every game. Like that's probably including like a version of the game that's compatible with, like, let's call it, just for argument's sake, I'll break it down into easy numbers, with version 1 of main, and then you need a different version to work with version 2, and a different version to work with version 3. So that it's probably, that would inflate the numbers massively. Because these games are like 1, 2, 5, 6 megabytes. There's no way it would be 400 plus gigs for one of every single arcade game in existence, with the exception, like excluding all the additional versions you need. There's no way they would hit 400 gigs. The music in this level always reminds me of, I think it's Super Castlevania 4. And I'm getting completely bodied here. I need to pay a little bit more attention. Oh, trust me, MAME is still a pain in the balls. The only reason, like, I raged so hard at trying to set up MAME for years. The only way I managed to get it was because of fellow teenagers and Bieber. That's the only reason I managed. I was tearing my hair out of it. But they got it. I'm getting fucking destroyed here. But now we ballin' so hard like the mayor, as they say in Renton, Washington. Oh, I see a queen in the background. Oh no! I was about to say this is easy. This part is usually easy. But we get through it anyway. Oh, I love beat 'em ups, Chris. Yeah, I absolutely love beat 'em ups. So many different ones. It doesn't even have to just strictly be an arcade one. Usually arcade ones are better, but I mean, you give me any of the arcade ones, you give me Turtles in Time, you give me Golden Axe, you give me Streets of Rage. There's probably even more I'm just forgetting off the top of my head. Although I technically suppose Streets of Rage is actually an arcade game. It came to the arcades before it came to the Mega Drive. And that's another thing I'm looking forward to as well. Hint, hint, Beaver. Stuff like, you know, Punisher, we got The Simpsons, we got, to an extent, we got X-Men, Turtles, AVP, so many good ones. I don't know how people do this without taking, like, without losing life. Like, even if you try go in after the attack and get one single hit in, it's still very dangerous. And then you get too close like that and get bodied. Oh yeah, shoot 'em ups is what you're thinking of. Games like R-Type, Gradius, things like that. Shoot 'em ups. Ikaruga, 1942, stuff like that. Shmups, as some people call them. I just call them shoot 'em ups. Are we open yet? Not yet. Take him down, take him down. See, once she just gets in on top of you, it can just do so much damage so fast. And I will say that that little kind of jig, that when she gets too close, that kind of just pushes you around with doing no damage. That's a MAME exclusive thing. That doesn't happen in a real game. Oh, let's get her over. And see you later. Oh, here's one that will blow your mind, Biz, since you mentioned, you know, amazing, quote, amazing anyway, unquote, NES games that have far superior arcade games. Look up the difference between Ghosts and Goblins on the NES and Ghosts and Goblins in the arcade. The difference is unreal. It's the same with if you ever look up Super Ghouls and Ghosts on the Super Nintendo versus Ghouls and Ghosts in the arcade, the difference is insane. Now, it's not as big as a difference as NES to Ghosts and Goblins from NES to arcade. That's a huge difference, but it's insane. Yeah, see, they're different games. You have to remember there's Ghosts and Goblins and Ghouls and Ghosts. So there's Ghosts and Goblins, which is the first one. That's the NES one with the arcade version as well. The difference is astounding. And it's funny, because no one knows about the arcade version, or no one thinks there's that much of a difference. Let's get our name in here. If you've ever played both of them and say that, oh, the arcade one is so much better, the NES one is crap by comparison, everyone gets, whoa, you dissed the NES game. Hold up, wait a minute, that's not okay. No, I'm not going to replay it again this time, Chrissy. There's only a 2-game cycle in it, like a twice cycle, so I'm not going to bother going on the next one. I'm just going to end it here in like 2 or 3 minutes, because it's kind of late and I have work in the morning. But yeah, there's a few others as well. Let me see what else is. Sly Spy is a good example. Many people might not know it, at least most Americans wouldn't know it, because it wasn't big in the US. But Sly Spy is a fantastic arcade game. It's brilliant arcade game. It's great. I have the arcade board of it. It's one of the few I have. The other one is I have Aliens, Sly Spy, and Ghosts and Goblins. But Sly Spy does have a home console port to an extent. It doesn't have a NES port or anything like that, which is why most Americans don't really know it. But it does have a Commodore 64 port. Now the Commodore 64 version is far, far inferior, but it still works. And it was still good. Good enough back in the day as a kid. That's all that matters. No, no, not Sly Spy. Sly Spy. SLYSPY. Think of it as like James Bond simulator. Sly Spy. Yeah, when I get excited and passionate about stuff, I talk fast and it doesn't work well. The accent gets thicker, and when it's faster, that doesn't help. It's all over the place. But I'm trying to, there's so many other good ones. Like there's so many good ones that people don't even know exist. There's actually a Mega Man arcade game, and for the time it came out in the early 90s, it looks fantastic. Like it has graphics on the quality of like Mega Man X4, 5, and 6, which are PS1 games and Sega Saturn games. It looks that good, and it's like an early 90s arcade game. I think it's the arcade version of Mega Man 2. Now, I think it's called Mega Man 2, I don't remember, but it's not Mega Man 2, it's a different game. But it's nuts, it's the best shit ever. Absolutely. However, because it's late, I am going to end it here for tonight, simply because, well, my adrenaline's still going, you know, as we do. I didn't lift any grocery bags or anything, but I didn't do any cleaning, but adrenaline pumping, all the good stuff. Oh, it's funny actually, you mentioned Pit Fighter. That's actually on the Midway collection I bought yesterday. Pit Fighter's on there, believe it or not. As is Arch Rivals? Rivals, maybe? The basketball game where you can just like deck people punches. That's on there too. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. So, I'm going to end it here despite this amazing double run of Aliens. One of the best arcade games ever, thanks to, obviously, Hello Fellow Teenagers and Beaver Sucks, because it finally got going and it's finally up and running. I can't wait to see what else I can do with it over the next while, be it whatever, Aliens or AVP or Punisher or Simpsons or Turtles or whatever it is. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, as always, I want to thank everyone joining me in the stream chat, simply because I can sit here and love this and play this all I want, but shooting the shit with you guys, hanging out, doing all that good stuff, That's why I do this, and that's what makes it what it is. So, a million bajillion minus one, minus, not plus, that's right. Thank yous to everyone in there. Peace out, and I'll see you next time, or whenever it is.